This production won the 2015 Tony Award for Best Revival of a Musical. The King and I is now touring nationally, and now it's on stage at Starlight Theatre. Lucky us. Joining me now is Elena Shaddow, who plays the I in The King and I. This is such an iconic production. Congratulations. You have the star role. You play the tutor. I do. The I, who's tutoring the king and all his kids.
Yes.
What is it like to take on a role? I mean, this debuted in 1951.
Yeah.
How do you make it your own and make it fresh? Or do you make it fresh?
I think it's a fine balance between being able to honor the traditional way that it's been played and to tell the story that was written in 1951 and putting your own sort of spin on it. But I really believe that in all my years of performing and acting and what I've learned over the years is that if you're being truthful in every scenario and really telling the story from your point of view and saying the words as written, it's going to come across as authentically you regardless. So I think a lot of actors try really hard to put their own spin on something, and I think that's honorable, but I think it's much easier to take the route of, I'm going to do it as truthfully as I possibly can and respond to each scenario truthfully, and that makes it your own.
When you're performing, before you do your performance in front of the audience, do you make it a point to watch previous performances of other productions, or do you try to do total clean slate?
I prefer the latter.
Clean slate?
Yes. I try not to copy anyone else, although, like, as we just mentioned, I did watch the original movie because I think it's important to know the source material and to know what everyone else has watched.
Right.
Just so that I'm not, you know, wildly out of context. But it also depends on how long you have to rehearse. Like, if you're rehearsing for a very short while, it does help to watch the show a lot, which is what I did when I came into this production, because I had only 12 days to learn the role.
12 days is not a long time.
It's not a long
such
time.
A huge role. You make a living traveling the world, traveling the country, doing what you love. You also have 2 children.
I do.
A husband at home who's holding down the fort.
Yes.
Well, you're traveling, and he's also in the industry, which helps because you guys get it. But what I love is we were looking at your, hope you don't mind, we were snooping.
It's
looking through
okay.
your Facebook and Instagram. We found some pictures that we loved about how you keep in touch with your kids and stay connected.
They will love this.
So there's one picture of how you kept in touch with one of your children who was, what's happening here?
So that's my son Liam testing for his junior black belt.
And so he had you on FaceTime?
So my husband, actually my daughter was holding the camera, the phone, and she was FaceTiming for me. And there's me at one of my final rehearsals, and I think I was in Tempe, Arizona at the time, and they were in New Jersey, and my son was testing for his junior black belt, my 6-year-old son, and he passed.
Yay!
So we were very excited about that. Those testing moments are very intense, and you see in the background other parents sitting on the side. Yeah. So we're all invited to sit on the side of the mats and support the children as they test. So it's a very communal experience, and it's important to the children who are testing.
Oh, and to your kid.
And well, yes, to have the parents there. It's important to them. So I was there, just like a floating head.
You know what? That's good enough. You were there.
And then he kept waving at me.
That's so sweet. And then your kids also made you a really neat Mother's Day present. So where were you when they made this for you? It's the Mommy Survival Kit?
Mommy Survival Kit. Yeah. Yes, so my daughter went around the house, and I was at the time, I think I was in, oh gosh, where was I? Right before Mother's Day. I guess I was in Schenectady. Oh yeah, Schenectady, and I came home just for the day, and I got my Mother's Day present, and it was the sweetest thing. She went around the house.
What's in the Mommy Survival Kit?
Things like seltzer and
wait, like
chapstick.
Okay,
it says like, "Aren't you glad I have seltzer?" And like for all your unicorn popping needs, it's like a unicorn popper with the ball in its mouth that you squeeze. Yeah. Just like a stress reliever. She's just so thoughtful, and she just sort of made little notes and she put it in the back of my car and she said, "Mommy, take this with you." And
that's great.
Oh, it was just the sweetest, most thoughtful thing.
What do you think appeals to audiences about the show you're doing now, The King and I?
Well, again, it's a combination of the old and the new, right? So the show, when it was written in 1951, was extremely progressive. It was considered very advanced for the time in which it was written, about equality and about women's, not necessarily liberation at that time, but about the equality of women and the idea that a woman can be challenging to a man and make him think.
That was a novel idea.
That was quite a novel idea, I feel, in the 50s, you know, that on a widespread platform anyhow. And that the leading characters of this show, the three women, the three leads, are all quite strong and all sort of fight for their right to be who they need to be at that time. It's relevant in that way right now, because I think that there is that sort of widespread idea right now that's going on of equality and understanding of two cultures meeting and being okay with each other. I mean, that's very relevant right now.
Very relevant, more than ever.
Yes,
Elena, thank you for being here.
It's
and
my pleasure.
Congratulations on your success with your career and your family and everything in between.
I appreciate it.
Elena Shaddow, thank you. The King and I is on stage at Starlight Theatre through June 17th. For ticket information, call 816-363-7827 or go online to kcstarlight.com.